We here at the Sports Fix want to make all of your dreams come true.
What about my dream?
Edith, I told you I can't build your candy house. It will fall down. The sun will melt the candy. It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
Oh, maybe not all of them. Get your fix on the Sports Fix.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Of course, you know during Brown season, we're there each and every week. What a fun time it was last year. But not just that, so many more reasons for you to check out the Harry Buffalo today. The UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events. Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks, and every day of the week there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one unbelievable sandwich. You have got to get a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, whatever day of the week, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
This is head coach Gary Waters at Cleveland State, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
News break.
Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. Like the National League Central, it is a three-way race, but with a significant favorite. Baseball owners are expected to vote today in Baltimore to elect a new commissioner. Hearing on Mike and Mike, former Commissioner Fay Vincent says that current Commissioner Bud Selig should get his way.
I think Bud's going to try to leave it with Rob Manfred. I think the odds are very high he'll pull that off. I say, guys, he's the Rocky Marciano of baseball politics. He's undefeated. And my bet would be that he'll continue to be undefeated.
Manfred is baseball's chief operating officer. The two other candidates are Red Sox chairman Tom Werner and baseball executive vice president for business Tim Brosnan. Second full week of the NFL preseason kicks off tonight when Jacksonville visits Chicago, 8 Eastern time on ESPN. ESPN.com reporting that Cardinals linebacker John Abraham will report to camp today. He's been out for nearly 3 weeks for an undisclosed reason. The Court of Arbitration for Sport today upheld Uruguay soccer star Luis Suarez's 4-month ban for biting an opponent in the World Cup. First round of the Wyndham Championship in Greensboro, the leaders at 3 under par. Jonathan Vegas through 8 holes, Martin Laird through 7.
Sports Center on ESPN Radio is brought to you by the full juicy flavor of Johnsonville sausage. Visit Johnsonville.com for affordable recipes perfect for game time or anytime. Johnsonville, served with pride since 1945.
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
Love is like a bomb, 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 bomb.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, Hour 2. Well, we're close enough to it. Kicking off here, J-Rock back with you across the Sports Fix Radio Network as we roll on. Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com going to be joining us here momentarily as we keep the Indians conversation going. But real quick, I got to give a shout out. I got all excited. I can't lie, man. I got a little happy here during the break. My man Pavan does the graphics for us on our Facebook fan page and does the cover photos. He's a great little graphic designer, man. Pavan Pachetti, my man. He did one last week. And LeBron, and I sent him a message. I said, "Man, that's great, except where's the Indians?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, right." I'm like, "Not oh yeah, right, man. You gotta put the tribe on this thing. Redo it, please." And he's like, "I got you, boss." So I just went to the break, and as I came back here, got the new cover photo on, and he's got the equitable distribution there, and the Sports Fix, Cleveland, your new sports capital of the world. But good job, wanted to give him a shout out there. Always love it when all the guys. I mean, really, it takes a nation to keep this bad thing going. I don't know. Maybe that was subliminal. Maybe this is a bad thing. I don't know. Indians should have won both games yesterday. That's kind of a bad thing in my opinion, but it's the same thing that it's been all season long. I'm getting ready to go to the phones, and the first words out of this dude's mouth is going to be, "They are who we thought they were." We say this every week. We do our little diddy-do, and then we talk about some things. Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. I'm going to pull him up. That means you can't call, but you can continue this conversation with us on Facebook and Twitter and email, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfix, CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And I'm going to go to the phones now. Mike Brandenberry, how you doing, man?
What's going on? You're stealing my lines. You're playing out our conversation before we even have it. That's not good.
What are we going to talk about now? What do we even have left to talk about now? But, you get my point, man. I mean, it's the point we keep making. Once again, I'm not going to say it because if you're a baseball guy, it's no such thing as wasting your time watching baseball. But, man, you sit through hours of that last night, and it feels like you wasted it because you're right back where you started when the day began. You're like, damn, man, couldn't we have skipped to the end if we weren't going to move forward or backwards here? I mean, it's just an opportunity lost, and that's what I'm kind of ticked about.
Oh, for sure. And the English teacher in me who, is always looking for symbolism and comparisons and metaphors and everything. I mean, yesterday, to me, was like the entire season in one day.
You're right.
It was beautiful out. You couldn't ask for more. The stands were empty. You get a great win in walk-off fashion. You look up at the standings at 5 o'clock and you say, everything has gone terribly wrong, but there's so much here to still be had and salvaged. And then basically you go out and lay a gigantic egg in the second game and get shut out for 12 innings. And like you said, you're right back where you started the day and, just dawdling around 500 like they have all year and just continuing to spin their wheels and to steal, the line that you used before you went to me. They are exactly what we thought they were, and they're not changing.
Oh, no, and I hear you on that. I said they're going to be in this thing till the end because I truly believe that some team is going to win this thing with 85, 86, 87 wins as far as that second wild card goes because it's all a bunch of mediocrity. You hit it best. I keep going back to the line you used about 3 weeks ago when you said it's just one of those seasons where there's only 4 playoff teams, but they have to put 5. Although, Kansas City's charge at least kind of changes the top of that a little bit. But you had a good point. Everybody else is just kind of lucked into fighting for the extra playoff spot that happens to be available. So they'll be in this. If they stay around 500, they will be within a few games all the way until the end of the season because I just don't see anybody else pulling away with this thing the way everybody's been up and down. Do you agree with me?
Oh, I agree with you 100%, and I think that statement from a couple of weeks ago is becoming more and more true. There really are just 4 legit teams in the American League, and the second, your second tier, I guess your next 4 I mean, all have at least one, if not, several fatal flaws at this point. And I would even go so far as to say, there really might just be three good teams, or three legit contenders in the American League at this point in Oakland and Anaheim and then the Baltimore Orioles. And I think you kind of touched on it. The Royals kind of bring a wrinkle to this.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. The Indians will be in it to the end almost by default, not necessarily because they're really a legit playoff team, but just because no one else is running away. And I think the Royals bring a wrinkle to this. And I think, as you watch the Royals go on a tear, I think it bothers me more how disappointing this Indian season is and is continuing to be, because the door is wide open.
Yes.
For a team to run through, and the Royals are no better example than that. And as we sit here and we say that there's only 3 or 4, teams that can really make a run, the Indians, I don't think the Indians are going to change from what they've been for 120 games now. But I think it is all that more disappointing, because I think it's easy to look at this year and say, if Justin Masterson was the pitcher that he was supposed to be, and if Asdrubal Cabrera put up any kind of, comparable numbers to a couple years ago, and if Nick Swisher just had a season like he did last year, I'm not even talking about a good season, just the year he had last year, and the same for Michael Bourne. This team would probably be leading the division at this point. And I think that is, really disappointing at this point. And I don't see where it's changing, but I think, that door is wide open for where they could have, really achieved, some good things this year.
No, I agree with you. You talk about some of those bigger stories that could have changed. I said yesterday something smaller. I said, and this is based on a small sample size, obviously, but the return of Carlos Carrasco to the rotation. Had he been this guy when the season started and they stuck him out there to begin with, perhaps, I said yesterday, perhaps the season changes there. Maybe you get more solidification of that rotation. Instead, he implodes, and that was the beginning of the carousel that went all throughout where we're at now of this starting rotation.
Yeah, definitely true. And I mean, my only counter to the Carlos Carrasco thing is you could pick almost any moment in time in the last 2 years and said, if Carlos Carrasco would have pitched like that, things would be better, because it would be true. I mean, if Carlos Carrasco would have pitched like that last year, they could have won the division last season. And maybe not been in a wild card, and the same is true this year. You're right, and for all those reasons, color me skeptical on Carlos Carrasco and what he did last weekend. I think it would be awesome if this is the time that he finally finds it. But we've seen these moments before, and then we've seen Carlos Carrasco come back to earth too. Yep. So. I remain guarded when it comes to Carlos Carrasco, but that rotation is such a mess. I mean, there's no reason to not give him his 25th opportunity to be a starting pitcher at the big leagues, because everyone else has had 24 chances this year and failed.
Yeah, and hopefully he can take advantage, because at least down the stretch, man, and I will say this, I know we're going to continue to have this conversation for the rest of the season, because they're always going to be bobbing within a couple of games of the playoffs, but I think that I can say with some definition here what I said yesterday. The rest of this month, with the exception of the series that's coming up here with Baltimore, the next 3 are also Rans at this point in the season, with Minnesota, Houston, and the White Sox. If you don't make your run through that stretch of the schedule, then pack it up for next year, because you're not going to do anything in September with Kansas City and Detroit. But other than Kansas City and Detroit, you don't